Hi, I'm Joshua Hayward, and thanks for joining me for life readings this week in the stars and cards. And let me extend an invitation to you to join me each week as I explore all the possibilities and the challenges and the opportunities for inward growth and outward effectiveness. And this is brought to you by Breath of Life School in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and many blessings. Enjoy. Now, you may not be a Scorpio personally. Your sun sign, your solar energy may not be in Scorpio, but you do have Scorpio somewhere in your chart, like ruling one of the houses, or maybe one of the planets in your chart may have Scorpio, been going through that sign of Scorpio when you were born. Okay, and I've found that so many people really love the idea that there are Scorpio people out there, and they're sort of glad that they're not, but they really like that. It's kind of exciting and mysterious and stuff like that, but they're also glad not to be. Are you glad not to be a Scorpio? Oh, or are you actually a Scorpio? Okay. And I found that so many people are very bold and proud about it. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio. You're not. All right. And then some people are a little bit more like, they just assume not mention it, and let other people think whatever they may. And yes, that Scorpio, that death and life and rebirth and that darkness to light transformation, it's part of all of us as we seek through our egos and through our personalities, our persona, we seek a marriage with the soul so we can bring in that Christ consciousness fully to bear in this life. That's what we all really seek. But we rather project the darkness that we try to evade in ourselves onto others. It's good that other people are Scorpios, that, I don't have to do it. Well, it's really great that we had Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, and I could talk about people from more modern times, maybe even Charles Manson. It's so great that other people are really evil and that we're not. We all have it in us. We all have everything in us. This week, as we move towards this new moon Scorpio, on Wednesday, on the 4th, as we move into that, and we have that sort of beginning from darkness into light. Yeah, Scorpio is ascending this week. And let's take advantage of it. Let's acknowledge our darkness. Let's acknowledge those places within us that maybe are places and aspects of ourselves that we don't want to admit. It's Halloween too, you see. And so embracing the darkness, and this week really intending for that light to begin to guide our paths towards that soul discovery. That's what we got this week. So it's really about acceptance of all of who we are, if we are going to be able to be reborn and to transcend and to move towards the rapture, move towards ascension, to move towards divergence in this society, which is very divergent society now. Where are we going to go with our lives? What kind of quality are we going to bring? Who are you? Who are all of us? What do we want to bring? All right. Just wanted you to think about that. And now let's just go ahead and really move right into cards. But first, I forgot to mention that this week, Mars is actually moving into a square to Saturn. So there's a test of wills this week. In 2 weeks, Mars will move into an opposition to Uranus. Okay? And that's kind of an explosive time as we move into Thanksgiving and stuff like that. There might be some explosive energies that we can, see in the news, but we can also take advantage of as we assert our wills. Are we going to do that from the light? Or are we going to unconsciously cause harm to others along the way? Probably not meaning to. Okay, so accepting all parts of yourself. And that's how to move with the spiritual energies that are present right now. This is how we transform that darkness into light so we can see who we are. We know who we are. So is that what you want? If not, that's up to you. As I pull these cards, and there will be most likely 6 of them, just look inside your heart. Look inside that place where you connect with source energy, where you find that deepest creative parts of you and the recesses of your psyche. What does that really want? What kind of new star towards this cosmic end of the world? Well, let's see, cosmic fool, end of the world theater. That kind of stage that we're finding ourselves on these days. So, the first card to take into account is the Priestess, also called the High Priestess. She is the spiritual guide. She is the Holy Spirit, or the Shekhinah in the Hebrew or the Jewish tradition. She's behind the veil. She's not in the material world, but she's there for us. And we can feel that. So that's the key to the new beginnings in this sort of Scorpio ascending kind of week. And let's see how she plays out with some of the other cards. She wants to speak to you of your frustrations and your disappointments. And that's part of the darkness that's in there that wants to be transformed. Okay? The cups are not filled. Okay. You felt the sting in that card. You're asking Spirit for guidance. It's beautiful because you want to accept the wounding. You want that to be healed. You're not in resistance or denial. A few weeks back, we talked about denial. In fact, the episode was called A River in Egypt. Okay, but we've moved on from that. And Spirit's telling you the 8 of Earth, the 8 of discs, prudent steps. Okay? This is turning the tides in your life by listening to Spirit and keeping your heart open and not resisting the pain, letting that pain flow through, flow out, and to be replaced by the steps that you're taking that you can feel. You can feel a difference, okay? And that leads to a new way of thinking. So there's a lot of process this week. The Ace of Swords. There's a crown on this ace. So there's a lot of positive new wisdom to come, and new experiences, and new ways of thinking. That's got to be key to a Scorpio moving from the sting to the ring, that ring of spirit. All right? And here we are with the Death card. Ruled by Scorpio. This is the Scorpio card right here. And so be willing to embrace your story, that frustrating, disappointing story, and be beginning to let it go. One part of Scorpio, what happens is the Scorpio stings, that stinger comes out, it just stays in. But the other part of it is the stinger needs to come out eventually. The death is complete and the rebirth can begin. So that's where we're going. Don't be afraid of this card. Don't be afraid of this week. Don't be afraid. Or if you are afraid, accept that and ask for that guidance and ask for that assistance. This is that week when you can embrace things that way. All right, one more card. And that is this wonderful card. It's the Chariot. So this is the journey that it's like maybe you've gotten off this, or you're always on the journey. You're always on this chariot. But sometimes you forget. You get stuck, and that frustration and that disappointment and the wounding kicks in. And then so you're alone and you're isolated. And you don't think that you're really moving. And that stinger is in you. You've forgotten that you're on the journey. But this week, remember the journey, the chariot. It's a chariot of healing on lots of different ways. It's the heroic journey. It's the heroic quest to your best. Okay? And your best is not something that you need to prove to somebody else. It's how you experience your own self and move into feeling one with your sense of significance and what you have to give and what you have to receive in life. All right, so that's it for this week. It's the journey, and it's the journey of spirit. And it's the transformation that takes place in that context. So happy ascending in that Scorpio energy, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And if you remember to seek the divine in all things along the way, you certainly will benefit.